Today I'm going to show you a little trick and also point out some of the differences between an application that's been bound and one that's been through the build factory, that's compiled. Now, we've talked about this before, and we've talked about, look, a build factoried application is much smaller than one that's been bound. But there's another difference, and I recently had to make use of that. Okay, so you remember this little thing, right? This little ruler that we made some time ago. So I made two versions of it. One is bound and the other one was compiled with the build factory. And you can see there's a big difference in size. But now let's call this up in disk probe. And it's the usual, it's an executable, so you don't expect to see much. But if we go right to the end of this file and further and further, what's this stuff? This starts to look familiar. And if we go even further, that really looks a lot like Yab code. Okay, so now let's do the same trick with the one that's been through the build factory. And no, there's nothing. I mean, there's stuff there from the compiler, but there's no actual code in there. So, a day or two ago, I was writing something which I'll probably show you in the next lesson, and I needed to know if I could, within Yab, find the total number of workspaces and the current workspace. So I put up a request on the forum. There is a very old utility for it, but it's 32-bit only, and it didn't compile in 64-bit. That's a C++ utility. But I thought, no, it must be possible to do this. And on the forum somebody suggested a way to do it, which have enormously long awk string, which would be a maintenance nightmare for me. It did work though. And I said, no, I remember doing this before. I go through the documentation and there's nothing. Except that there's something in the reserved keywords, PC workspaces. I thought, yes. So I try it, and yeah, it worked. I could get the total number of workspaces. That's a good start. So, I still need the current workspace. So I see on the bslide repo, there's an old program, I think Loglas wrote it, to name your workspaces. And I think, well, in order to do that, you have to get those two pieces of information. Okay, I download it, expand it, and it's only in a executable format. But I got lucky. It was bound, not compiled. So, what did I do with that? How did I get that code out? Alright, let's open up. Well, in Bash there is this command. Strings. It extracts from a binary file everything that looks like a string. Alright, and let's feed that into a file. Okay, let's open that with Coder, and there's still a lot of irrelevant stuff that is not Yab code, but right at the end. Oh, look at that. Will you look at that? There is so that is where my code starts, and we now delete everything that is not my code. There we have it. It'll probably need a bit of cleaning up, but basically that is the code that I wrote. And so if you bind your program, then it is possible for somebody else to, or yourself, to get at it, to extract it from the binary. If you run it through the build factory, that's not possible. Okay, so that's just an interesting little nugget that I thought you might like to know. Thanks for watching.